Okay guys, the time has come. I've got to put a radiator in this car. I haven't been driving this car for about 2 weeks now because I've had a radiator leak going on for a while now, probably 2 or 3 months, and it's just started out as a seep and now it's really just gotten really bad, so I can't drive it anymore as bad as it is. You can see, looking at the radiator, that it's wet around the top tank and there's been stuff blowing back on the engine and it's going through coolant. I can fill this jug up and probably drive about 100 miles and it'll use the whole jug of coolant up, so it's got to come out and be replaced. And I have a new one to go in it. I ordered one off eBay from a place called Sunbelt Radiators, and they had good reviews, and the radiator cost me a whopping $62 plus free shipping, so couldn't go wrong with that. So we're gonna get started on this. It is butt cold out here. It's been down to about single digits the last couple nights, and today it's maybe 30, so I am not happy about being out here. I hate winter, but this has to be done, so can't wait any longer, so we're going to get to it. Now this is just basically a cut and dried replacement job. This is a rear-wheel drive car. It's got an engine driven fan, so it shouldn't be a big deal to get this thing out. I'm going to try. We got a couple hours of daylight left today, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get it at least out today. So what I plan to do is, I know my intake duct has to come off. That's just two 10mm nuts. There's one here, one there. Just slips out over here. You have a intake air temperature sensor right here. Just unplugs this and get that out. You don't have to take the air box out. So I'm going to take that off first, and then I think I'll probably have to work on the fan shroud, because what I try to do is I try to do everything that might require me getting under the car first, so I don't have to, before I drain anything, so I don't have to lay any kind of coolant. It might be dripping out, splashing out, whatever. So, okay, I will see you in the next clip. Okay, went ahead and popped out those two 10mm nuts right there. Just used a ratchet and got those loosened and took that large duct off. Put it in a safe place. Put the two nuts back on where they go, just for safekeeping, right there and there actually. And so initially what I thought I was going to be able to do is just detach this fan shroud. The fan shroud's held on by two more 10mm fasteners. In this case they're screws, bolts, whatever you want to call them. Go here and here, and then this fan shroud just pulls up. It's got two little pegs at the bottom. It just kind of pops down in the radiator to retain it, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to really do that and have enough space. So I went ahead and loosened and removed the fan fasteners. Just 4 more 10mm nuts. They're right there in a safe place. So this is a lot like any other rear-wheel drive car with a clutch fan on it. So what I think I'm going to be able to do now is, at least I'm going to try to take this fan off and pull it out of here. If not, then the whole thing will have to come out as an assembly. So let's work on that, see if I can get you in a spot where you can watch. So let's see here. Yeah, going there. It's kind of crooked. No better. Give me a back shot, but can't help it. Oh, so close. Well, alright guys, you learn by doing. So, yeah, that is not going to work. So that will not all come out together. So what's going to have to happen is this radiator hose is going to have to come off because it's in the way. So, because you got an air conditioning line right here that's helpfully curves right around the side of the fan shroud right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get the radiator draining and see if we can get that hose off there. Alright, thing is tinkling into the container there. I'm working on getting this radiator hose off up here. And I went ahead and took the overflow connector hose and put it was kind of had a little fluid in it, so I just stuck it back in there temporarily. You can see there. You know, everybody rags on these plastic radiators, but I'll tell you, I've had better luck with these than I've had with copper and brass radiators. Just about any vehicle I've ever bought in the last 10 years that had a copper brass radiator, if it wasn't leaking when I got it, it leaked right after. So, but oh well, I think it's a 50-50 thing. I think these probably have about the same reliability as the copper and brass. But what was that? Oh, leaf. One thing that, look at this. How good a job they did putting this hose on there. This is one of these that are cut to fit. I hate cut to fit hoses. But anyway, that's what this is. And somebody just wasn't too precise about that, were they? So, yes, baby. Yeah. Yeah. How much this is going to dump out here? Ooh, I hear it make a noise. Oh, okay. We'll do that. See, y'all kind of say sometimes you don't ever see me do any actual work. It's because, well, I couldn't have done that better. Did you see that? That ripped right out in there. Yes. That's because I don't actually do any work. I have somebody I hire to do all my mechanic work, and I just direct these videos. It's like some other people I know on YouTube. Nah, actually I do all of it. So, let me think here. Let's try again on this, taking this shroud and stuff off, because I got everything out of the way now. And these are the two upper hold downs on the radiator, so. You know, it's not as cold out now since I've been working. You know, the old adage goes, keeps looking like there's something on this screen. Old adage goes, if you're cold, you're not working hard enough. Could be true. Alright, let's try this again. Prepare to extract the fan. That out. That out. Oh. Hey, here we go. Huh. Yeah, that's out. Much to it. Okay. Oh, nice. I can do these from up here. Yeah. You know, they say Infinitis are hard to work on. Okay guys, let me show you what our view is here. Okay, there's the lower radiator hose is coming up right there, so that I'm probably going to go ahead and take that loose because I'm going to replace those two, the upper and the lower hose, and I got a belt in here that's looking pretty bad. Let's take a look at that belt. this one, this thing has 4 belts on it. I see one back there, that one, and there's one right there. You see that one? It's kind of hiding right there. I don't always see it too well, but okay, there you go. There's that one. That's the 3rd one, and then the 4th one looks like the power steering belt, which is that one, and that's the one that ain't looking too good. So yeah, see that? When you see that going on, that's imminent failure. So go ahead and replace that thing. Unless the other ones look how they look. Well, put the light on it. Cool. Those look okay, and they're, whoops, come on. Yeah, that one, I inspect that one closer. I don't know why that one looks so bad. I think they replaced those 3 because they look good. It was good. They're good gator back belts. So, golly. So I'm probably not going to worry about those 3 because, you know, belts last, serpentine belts last a long time. And that's not necessarily serpentine, but it's one of those rib belts. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to put a good belt on the one that needs to be replaced and go from there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get that lower hose off there, and then I'm going to take those 2 transmission lines loose from up here. That's nice. And then this radiator should be just ready to just come right out. So all I should have to do is, like I said, take off these 2 fasteners. Looks like they're 10mm nuts, and go from there. All right, back in the flash. Well, I guess we're ready to see if we can pull this radiator out now. I got those transmission lines disconnected, and I put all that paper under there because I thought I'd get a tidal wave like I get any other time I do that. And I don't think I've spilled 3 drops of transmission fluid, if that. So there's a little bit down there out of that one, as you can see. But anyway, so I think it's ready to come out. So I got the, just went ahead and took that old lower hose all the way off. I thought I was going to cut it. That's kind of redneck. So I get accused of being a redneck, and I guess I am, but maybe not that much of one. All right, another rear shot. Let's see if we can get this puppy out. Already taking the nut here and the nut here. You watching? The nut here and the nut here. Another 10mm. Let's put those to the side here. These upper brackets. Just come right off. There. Put those for safekeeping. I think we're clear. There's something fall down here. Ugh. Oh, what is that? A piece of plastic here. I guess that's a, this must be a, some kind of a side shield, I guess. I notice it says a little shield came off with it. I'll have to investigate that. It's got foam on it too, so I may have to go to the hardware store and get some foam to replace this. It says left hand. Okay. I gotta go to the junkyard tomorrow to get another radiator set of radiator hose clamps, the factory style. I want to put those back on it, not those screw clamps, and a couple of little things that I've broken over the past year or so. So I'm going to run over and get that if they're open, and I'll find out where that goes. Because I noticed, you remember when I took the shroud out, shroud's got a big piece made on the right side, so I guess that's what that has to do with. And there's your lower retainers. They're made onto the car. I heard something fall out when I picked that radiator up. I heard something fall out under here. Oh, well, that's what it was. Lost a socket then. Maybe that's all it was. Sometimes those things have little grommets or something in it, so I don't see anything like that. So. How long that's been in there. I'm going to look real quick too. Safe and sound on here and see. I don't know if that's okay, that's probably. Boy, that looks nasty. Yeah, it's got a piece of, that piece of foam. Let's take a look at this. You know, every time I do a video like this, I kind of wonder, shut up dog, I wonder if it's really necessary for me to do a video of how to put it back together, because, you know, any kind of work like this, removing, and there it is, this flashlight. Removing and replacing is just basically just reverse things in reverse, you know, put them in reverse order. God, look how dirty this thing was. Ever since I saw a video by Ed's Garage where he replaced the radiator in his car and he had all that junk in it. Yeah, look at that. Look at all that crud down in there. This thing was getting where I didn't have any other kind of overheating problems with it, but it was getting where if I run it pretty hard on the interstate in the summertime, this past summer, it would kind of try to run hot going up hills, and I just mean it just creeped up a little bit and then went back down. Boy, that's bad. I mean, it was leaking, yeah, but look how clogged up that thing is right there. So you can see through it here, all the way up there. You can get over here. Let's see how clogged it was. It's junk. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It sure wasn't helping anything. So, let's see what the other side looks like. Yeah. I would rate that a 4 on difficulty. This is easy to do. I won't be afraid to do it. You may notice this car has 2 radiator caps. There's one here, and there's one back here. Well, that's simply because Nissan was thoughtful enough to remember that piece of intake duct covers up the radiator, so you can't get to the radiator cap. So they care enough about their customers to not subject them to have to take that thing loose every time you put water in it. So I am probably not going to do the belt replacement thing on this, because I'm not going to video it, simply because I think I'm one of about 4 people that drive any of these cars anymore, so it's probably not really worth it to do it just for that. I think I'm going to just take the easy way out and just replace this power steering belt. It's the worst looking. Theirs look pretty good. Like I said, I'll double check them, but you can't imagine that. Somebody went to all that trouble to replace those 3 and put that old one back on. Okay. Alright guys, well, that's how you get the radiator out of one of these. And you know, I don't think I really got to do another part to this, because to put the radiator back in, you just reverse everything I showed you. Just do it exactly in reverse order. And I'll probably tack on, when I get it all back together and I put coolant in it, I may tack on a little bit of video instruction about making sure it's bled. I don't think this car has to have any kind of special procedures on it, because it's got a radiator cap and it has a thermostat right there that's oriented up and down, and it's been my experience that those always have jiggle valves in them, which is just a little orifice with a kind of a loosely fitting little piece inside of it, captive in it, and what that does, that lets air come across the top of the thermostat, bleeds a little bit of air out. So normally when they're like that, as opposed to the thermostat just being flat in the engine like a lot of American cars are, you don't normally have all that BS about having to bleed it, you know, get the air out of it and all that. So shouldn't be an issue. So I'll be glad to get this back together. I miss driving it. I like it. That truck's okay. I like it all right, but this car's it's a sweet ride, man. So, all right, well, we are running out of daylight, and I guess Lyle has got his truck back from the shop, and I have to pat myself on the back. That thing had a bad noise in it. That Toyota over there, it's a 4x4. You saw it in another video. Had bad noise in it. It sounded almost like a rod knocking, but it was coming and going, and I said, that's probably your flex plate. So he took it to the shop to have it worked on. Guess what it was? His flex plate. Uh-oh, got a leak. All right, guys, wrap it up. It's getting cold and dark, so we'll see maybe in another clip when I get this all back together. Thanks for watching. Okay, let's catch up, shall we? It's the next day, and I'm back on this cooling system project on this 98 Infiniti Q45. So I thought I'd show you a few things. Went ahead and installed a new power steering belt right there. This car has this system of, it's got some tensioner rollers, idler pulleys, I guess is really what you would call those. That one there and that one there. There's two of them, and so that's what you use to adjust the tension on the belts. If you go down underneath there, you look at the bottom, right in there, you see that bolt head right there? It's very simple. If you can see it, there it is. I think that's a 12. You just crank it out lefty to take the tension off the belt and go back in the opposite way, righty-tighty, and tightens the belt back up. While I was at it, I checked the tension on the other belts. Bolted my water pump pulley back down so it would not affect the belt tension, and they were pretty much okay. I put a little bit more on the inside big belt right there, the water pump belt, that one you see there, and its adjuster is right down, where is it? Right down there. See there, that's it. And up here is the one for the alternator belt, and then of course the other two I showed you. The other one for the air conditioner, it's the same as the power steering. It's on the right, this side over here, quite obviously. So got that done. There's the dog back, and ran into a little problem with my hoses. When I was taking this apart, I mangled up my old lower hose. This is a hose. This is a lower hose, and it just goes down in here like this. Gets in like that. It's a very simple hose. Nothing special about it. Well, this hose is not available in stock anywhere around here within hundreds of miles. If you want one of these hoses, you have to go order it. If I'd have known that, if I had the sense to check this before I started taking everything apart and cut my old hose off, which I did, then I would have just simply ordered a new hose and it would have been here. Well, I didn't, so there's my lesson. So this hose is a good used hose, and I don't normally ever do this. I would never usually run a used hose, but this one looks good. This is off of another Q45. I went all the way over to the Mad Max dystopian junkyard over there, the junkyard that's got all the good cars but it looks like hell. So I went over there to that and got one of these, and let me tell you something, that's a lesson right there, because I had to essentially take everything off that car in a junkyard except the radiator to get to that hose. Oh man, that sucked so bad. So I'm going to run this. It looks good. It's not, you know, I don't know what Japanese car company use for hoses, but they are some damn good hoses. You see heater hoses and stuff back there, like those. They've been on there since this car was new, and they're not swelled, they're not nothing, they're not split, they're not, you know, I've looked inside this one. Looks good, so I'm going to run it. I can get one from the Infiniti dealer for about $19, and I may do that, but for right now, you know, I'm not going to worry about it. So, and this hose here, this is the new upper hose. This is a good Gates hose I bought, and this is the one that comes this hose fits like this. It goes in. This is the radiator end at the top, and this goes to the T, they call it, like this. Goes like that. Okay, well, I always thought this hose looked weird over here. This one that was on it, and this was the hose that was on it. So, as you can see, it doesn't even look like it's the right hose to go on it, because you're supposed to cut this thing to fit. And I looked at the one in the junkyard, a couple different cars, and it's going to be this end that you cut. So, I don't know what this hose is off of. It looked like it was pinched in the middle a little bit anyway. Just a cheap repair. And also, when I was at the junkyard, procured a couple of the correct spring clamps that hold the hose on. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you need to use these. You need to use these worm clamps. Well, they'll work, but the thing about worm clamps is if you put them on when they're warm, then when it gets cold they start losing their tension and you have a leak. And these are just constant tension all the time. You know, if temperature changes, this is able to compensate for it. So this is what this car had on it from the factory, and that's what it's going back with. And, oh yeah, here's my new radiator. There's an old one right there. And this place that I got this from is called Sunbelt Radiators. It came from an eBay vendor, and they have a pretty good reputation. I checked them out before I ordered it, and they've got good reputation. It's got a lifetime warranty on it, so should be fine. Probably outlast the car. So anyway, this radiator cost me a whopping $63, and the parts store over here wants $151 for this thing. So you can tell what I did. I ordered it off the internet. I love the internet, because you can get parts so cheap on the internet. There's no point in even going to a parts store if you don't have to have it that day. So where am I at now? Oh yeah, I was going to show you something kind of interesting. Forever and a day, this car has had a slight power steering leak, and I didn't really think much about it. It didn't leak that bad, but just when it sat for a couple days, there'd be a little bit of a puddle, a small puddle of power steering fluid. And this is a power steering reservoir right here. It's got a divorce reservoir, and so you can see, hopefully, down there, see how oily that is? And it looks like the leak has been leaking down those lines right there, and I was kind of studying on that, thinking, well, what's going on here? So I started noticing, I hate that light. That light is the worst light for a trouble light you ever have in your life. So I started noticing under here, one of these is the supply, one of these is the supply line. This large one, I think it is. Kind of not a little better at that, I think, maybe. We fight with the light again. In there. So, anyway, if you look under there, you see there's two lines coming out of this reservoir. There's this small one, and there's this large one. I think this is the supply line to the pump, and I think this is the return line. Or maybe that's backwards, I don't know. Don't care. But anyway, this one and this one, they both have clamps on them. So I started feeling around. I took my bottle out, and coolant bottle, so I could get to this. And I started fooling around with this, and this one's tight. This one here is tight. This one, I can turn the whole thing with my hand. So that clamp under there has loosened up significantly, and that's probably where the leak's coming from. So alrighty then. That's what I'm going to do, is tighten that up, put the bottle back in, and then I'm going to start the process of putting the radiator back in. And like I said, I don't think I need to do a step-by-step on this, because this is, you know, it's just simply reversing your order of operation here. So, but I'll do a final video with it to catch you up at the end of this. So thank you for watching so far along, and tune in, sit tight, and there'll be another part coming up just in a split second right about now. Make sure you swap over these spacers from the old radiator to the new ones. One, these are the bottom ones, on like this. And the top. They're not threaded, they just twist them to make them go on a little easier. Okay then, I think we're good to go. We got all this back together, got the radiator back in this vehicle, and filled it back up with coolant, taking it on a couple fairly short road tests, and soon to be, so far soon to be leak free, so that's a good thing. And I have a couple other things to do here with it today, so I'm going to do those and then I'll take it on a longer road test, make sure we're okay, but looking good so far. There's supposed to be a seal made out of some foam that goes right here in this, between this radiator and the core support, kind of keep the air going through the radiator instead of up over it. And so that's missing, that disintegrated a long time ago. So instead of going to Infiniti and getting the correct Infiniti foam, which is probably no longer available, and if it is, it'll probably take a year to get here. Instead of doing that, I just took some of my Gorilla Tape and made a new seal right here, so that should be good. I know that'll probably upset the Infiniti purist, but I don't care. So that's about all we got to do under here. See, I got a battery terminal that needs some attention. There. I had to replace a bumper here for the hood. It was broken off, and I've got one for the trunk I've got to put on it, and I've got to replace a tail light bulb, and I got to also replace the light in the odometer, which is probably one of those weird bulbs that nobody ever seems to be able to figure out how to replace. It's one of those that's like a Christmas tree light. It comes in the socket, and it's got leads on it, and they wrap around. I've replaced a few of them, and you can get them at Radio Shack. I don't know why it's such a mystery, but people say, I can get those at the parts store. No, you can't. So everybody goes to the dealer to get them and pays 9 prices. Do that, and the main things I got to do is give this thing a bath. But one of the other main things is get that off the gear shift. I don't know what that is. It looks like I had I was eating a candy bar in here and somehow got it on the gear shift. So anyway, alright guys, well, we got a threat of rain today, so I better get hopping here. So just wanted to show you what we got going here. It's like the old skin Fendi is back on the road, hopefully. See you guys.